Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurship Decoded. I'm so excited for another interview today. I'm here with Britton. He is a product videographer based in Utah, so we're pretty local here, but he has a lot of value and advice to give today. So Britton, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. I'm excited for today. I love learning about entrepreneurs, their stories, and just getting to know how they're making a difference today. So I would love to hear how, who were you before you became an entrepreneur? What was your life like? And then how did that lead you onto this path that you're on now?
So I grew up in Fruit Heights, Utah. Grew up in the same house my whole life. And so I lived next to all my friends. So my next door neighbor was my best friend. My other next door neighbor was my best friend. So we had a tight group of probably 10 people that all lived next to each other, and we were all best friends growing up since like the age 0. And we all, for some reason, started getting into videos. We had a YouTube channel growing up where we just make dumb little videos. But as we got older, the videos got more professional, I guess you can say. Like we put more effects in them. We put more lighting in them. We actually started focusing on them. And so the videos just got better over time. And then also in the neighborhood we live, almost all of our dads are entrepreneurs. Our friends, all of our dads are business owners. So we would always get advice from them. We were always surrounded by business people. We would always pick their brains. And so growing up, that was always the mindset we all had, is none of us wanted to have a 9-to-5 work for someone else's job. We all wanted to do our own thing, work for ourselves, invest, stuff like that. So that's just the neighborhood we grew up in, where it was just like chase your dreams no matter what. And then in the household I grew up in, my dad, he's a big believer in chasing dreams too. So he always pushed me to chase my dream. And I don't know what it was, ever since I was like 3 or 4, I've always had a camera in my hand. I've always been doing videos and stuff. And I decided I wanted to make that into my career when I was very young, that I wanted to have a career in filmmaking and video and stuff. So my dad was always pushing me to continue that. He would always give me resources. He would always like watch my videos, give me critiques like, hey, you can do this to make them better. So he was always pushing me to be better. So that was awesome to grow up in that household. And then I lived in Argentina for a few years, and that was awesome to grow myself personally, be on my own for that long. And so then when I got back from Argentina, I decided I wanted to go full force into video making. And so I just, like the day I got home, pretty much, I picked up a camera and started making more videos. And then that's when I leaned towards more professional commercial and product brand videography. And I started getting into that. And I realized that I could make a career out of this. I can have not even, because my whole life, for some reason, I always thought if I was going to do video stuff, I'd have to live out of my car for like the first 5 to 10 years. And so that always scared me. But then I realized with brand and product videography and freelance videography, you can actually make pretty good money like the whole time. You don't have to live out of a car. You can actually like live life normally, you know? So I started doing that. And so I've been doing that ever since I got home, and I've been working with a bunch of companies. And yeah, so I've been doing all that. And recently I like business books too. So I've been reading a lot of business books. And I've realized that even if I become like the best videographer and I don't have skills in sales and marketing, I'm going to go nowhere. So these past few weeks, I've been just diving in sales and marketing to learn how to sell and learn how to market myself as a videographer. So yeah, so that's how I got started. That's where I'm at today.
That's awesome. I love that story and how you pretty much were, you grew up in that environment. So do you feel like that was the main thing that really pivoted you towards that entrepreneurship? Do you think that if you didn't have those influences, that your dad and then your friends' parents, if they weren't entrepreneurs and you weren't exposed to that, do you think you would have gone a different path?
Probably, because it just like it's a totally different way of thinking when you're around those types of people. Because like my whole life I wasn't around the people like go get a safe job for like 9-to-5. I never heard from anyone like advice like go get a safe job. No one ever told me that. They always told me like, look, you can make a lot more money. You can have a happier life if you pursue your dream and you do it if you do it smartly, with intelligence. And so, yeah, definitely if I wasn't raised in this environment, I bet I would have had a completely different mindset. And it was never so like, I loved it because the mindset was never like, hey, like I can't do this. They would always be like, how can you do that? So that's just the way we were raised, and that's how all my friends were raised. And so we're all, and I think we're pretty blessed to have that kind of environment to grow up in, because now our minds are just, I don't know, we grew up different in the way of we're completely like, we're always thinking of like new ways to innovate. Like one of my friends, he's big into real estate right now. And so he's like the real estate guy of our friends. My other friend is in the Bitcoin and altcoins and stocks and stuff. So he's the investing guy of our friends. I'm the video guy of our friends. I'm the only one that continued doing video out of our friend group. Everyone stopped in high school, but I kept going. So I'm the video guy of our friend group. We have like a friend that has his own lawn care company. So he's the lawn care guy. I don't know. So just every friend like took on their own skills. And so it's awesome to be around them all because we all just like bounce ideas off each other. It's like a little mastermind group. So it's awesome to have that environment to work in.
Yeah, that does sound awesome. I talked about in my other episodes before where if you create a community and people around you who, you can bounce ideas off of, or just have that diversity where new ideas can be spread around, I think that's where the most success comes from with that community. So it's really awesome you found that at such a young age. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really awesome. So when you were younger and even just going through nowadays, what were your biggest challenges you had to face as an entrepreneur? It looks like, or it sounds like you had, resources and opportunities that other people didn't, but a lot of people still have challenges and mistakes that, they regret down the road. But what were your biggest challenges you had to face?
I don't, maybe coming over the fear of failure. There's this, so my dad had me read this book. It's called Mindset. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. And so when I was pretty young, he had me read it, and that changed my whole life because the whole book talks about your mindset of failure, and that failing isn't something bad. It's just like another stepping stone. It's part of learning. Like you should fail before you succeed. And so ever since I read that book, my whole mindset switched to like, it's okay if I fail. It's okay if people don't like what I put out. It's okay if I do this because it's just part of the process, It's like, I don't know. I feel like ever since I read that book, I don't know if I've had challenges as far as, yes, I've had like things I had to get over and like bumps in the road, but I don't see them as like failures or challenges. I just see them as part of the process. So that was a big game changer, is after reading that book, just understanding like the mindset of successful people is they fail 99% of the time until they succeed. So it's just part of the process. It's part of success, is learning how to take failure and learning how to keep going. So as far as challenges, it's just been developing my skill, marketing, getting my name out there. So that's been the biggest challenge, is just, I guess that's everyone starting out, is no one knows who you are when you start out. So you just got to keep going. And I've been reading, there's this guy named Russell Brunson. I don't know if any of you have heard of him or if you've heard of him. I'm into his stuff too. And one of his big things is you have to endure long enough until you get noticed. And so that's been a big thing right now, is like if you produce the best content for a week and then stop, you're going to go nowhere. But if you produce the best content for 2 years, eventually your stuff's going to float to the top and you're going to get noticed. Yeah, it gives the example. I think he said like the Game of Thrones, like there's this guy, he didn't even discover the series until it was like season 4. And so it took him 4 seasons to get it discovered. So if they would have stopped in season 1, he would have never found the show. So it just takes, it's all about enduring with quality. And so, yeah, that's been a game changer too, to understand that mindset. Like, even if you produce way good stuff at the start and you don't get noticed, it's fine. You just got to keep doing it. It's all about enduring. It's who can endure the longest. And so, like, that's the biggest mindset change I've had, is the challenge of enduring. And so now, like, it's a lot easier now, because before I took on that mindset, when I'd, for example, post something and it got like negative, like interaction, not that many people interacted, I'm like, oh, should I even keep going? But now that I have that mindset, it's like, who cares? Like, just endure and post good content. Eventually it'll get noticed.
Yeah, I completely
I don't
agree.
know if that answered your question,
No,
but
yeah, that did, and a lot of people, go through that. It goes either way. People have challenges throughout their life because it's just mentalities or environment isn't supporting them. But then there's people like you who have that supportive environment, who have that, were like pretty much born with that mindset, but had that at such an early age. It's just ingrained in you. So
yeah, and
it goes either way. So
yeah, there's this theory. It's called, I don't know if you've heard of him. His name's Hiram Smith. Not like the church Hiram Smith, but like a modern Hiram Smith. and he gives an example. It's called the crab theory. And so, have you heard of it before?
I haven't heard of it, no.
So the theory is, if you get there, he lived in Hawaii. He was out fishing, not fishing, or catching crabs. And so they caught a bunch of crabs and they had them in a bucket, and his friends put them on the beach without a lid. And he's like, "What are you guys doing? That it doesn't have a lid, all the crabs will escape." And they're like, "No, they won't. Watch." So he sat there on the beach and watched these crabs for like an hour. And every time a crab got near the top and started to crawl out, all the other crabs yanked it down. So he compares that to life. Whereas if we surround ourselves with like crabs, with people that are negative, as soon as we start achieving our dreams, as soon as we start on a path, they're just going to yank us down and be like, "What are you doing? Like, why would you do that?" But if we surround ourselves with people that build us up, we'll have such a higher chance of success. So it's all about your environment, is his theory, which is true, because I've seen it. Like, I have people in my life that are negative, and I've honestly kind of zoned them out. I've kind of stopped talking to them, which I guess is kind of bad, but but it just like, it completely changes your whole mindset, your whole environment, when you just surround yourself with successful people. And that's what our friends did. There's 5 of us that we created a group, and we called it Surround Yourself with Success. And we'd all in the group, we'd send our goals, things we were doing to accomplish it, and we just build each other up. So there was no negativity. It was just like keep going, like shoving them further, and like, "Hey, how is your goal on this?" And then if he was struggling, we'd like help him. And so it's all about surrounding yourself with success, because you surround yourself with those kinds of people. They're going to help you. They're going to give you ideas. They're going to help you get further. But if you surround yourself with negative people, people that don't think about like self-improvement, achievement, I don't know. It's like, now in my life, I can notice it so like black and white when I'm around those types of people. Like, it just, like, all my energy, like all my excitement just gets shut off when I'm around those people. So like, that's what I made a big point in these recent months to surround myself with just successful people, and just people that are going to build me up, and people that tear me down, I kind of just block them out of my life. So that's been a huge thing, is the environment that you put yourself in.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've never heard that theory. I mean, I bet there's a technical term for pretty much anything, but
Yeah.
that's a great way to just put it into an analogy and let people really understand what that means when you're surrounded by either negative or positive successful people. And I think that you're completely right, where it's so much easier to have people around you that are like running with you instead of having to drag them with you, that kind of
Hmm.
thing. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like the thing that I think about too. But I don't think it's horrible when you cut out those people in your life because you're trying to improve yourself. But the only way for people to improve themselves is to say, okay, yeah, you're negative. I want to help you, but if you don't want that help, then we can't continue that. So I think cutting like negative people out of your life, but also giving them that awareness that what they're doing could be a great thing to do as well. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. I love that you have that community and have those people that just you write down your goals, you give out success advice, that kind of thing. That's awesome. So
That's been
kudos
great.
to you with that. So that kind of goes into my next question, I guess. Is that your major motivational factor? A lot of people go through and they have their whys and the things that keep them going in their journey, especially with entrepreneurship. Would you say that your group of friends and your dad and all your influences were like the top motivational factors that just kept you going?
So this is actually interesting, because I was watching a thing with Elon Musk, and he had a bunch of business graduates that were talking to him, and one of them asked like, "What's your motivation?" And his response like shook everyone to the core. It shook me to the core, and his response was like, "If you need motivation, this isn't for you." I was like, "Oh, fetch." And so it's true though, because if you need someone to motivate you, you don't have like the burning passion inside, So like, yeah, it's like they've all supported me, but it's like it's in my blood. I don't know what it is. Like I don't need someone to push me to have me keep going. Like, it's just like a burning passion, a burning motivation I've always had. And so that statement from Elon Musk was so true. Like, if you need motivation, it's not for you. Like, it should be something that you're just so deeply ingrained passionate about that you get up, and it's not like, "Oh, I gotta go do this." It's like, "Sick, we gotta go do this. Let's go to work." Like, it's fun. It's fun. Like, the journey I'm on, I love every second. There's not a day I wake up like, "Oh, like I gotta go edit, I gotta go film, or I gotta go market." It's like, yeah, let's go do it. Like, because it's just getting you further and further in life. You're progressing as a person, as a business owner, and like it's just awesome. So yeah, it's been a huge help to have everyone around me motivating me. But I think even if I didn't have any of them, I'd still be going forward. It just helps boost and helps with ideas. I think it kind of puts you on a fast track if you surround yourself with those kind of people.
Yeah, I like that answer. It's hard to motivate other people who just don't have that in them. So I totally understand where it's like if you are that person, you're like the sole motivator, but then like you said, you have other people around you or other factors that help you, which just like accelerates the process. So I think you said that perfectly. And yeah, that kind of blew my mind too. I did.
Yeah,
Elon Musk is on another planet, I
I
swear.
know he's not even human.
Oh, I totally agree. So, with your business, what you're doing now, I'd love to know like exactly what you do, and then yeah, just exactly what you do and how you help either businesses and just people every day.
Yeah, so I make product and brand videography videos. And so, for example, I have three main types of videos that I do for companies. And the first one is called a studio video. So, for example, a company will send me their product and I'll film it in my studio. It's like a 20 to 30-second video that will be used in social media marketing campaigns, social media pages to just create a video that goes along with the product. And then my second type of video, I call it the creation video. And that video is more of how the product is made. Like, for example, I did a popcorn one, I think 2 weeks ago, last week, of how the popcorn was made from start to finish. And so that one more builds brand awareness, builds culture around the brand. That one's really not used for internet marketing. That's just more like put it on their website. It builds brand awareness, brand name, and a culture around the brand. And then my third one is called the lifestyle video that I do for companies. And for example, for a clothing company, for example, if they want to show their clothing with the lifestyle they want, like paired with their brand, like if it's an outdoor company, I'll take their shirt or whatever and go up into the mountains in the area they want and film a video of it in the lifestyle that they want it to be in. So that one makes a bigger connection with their target audience. And so those are the three main types of videos that I'm doing right now. And then so it's kind of interesting. So that is what I'm doing right now. That's my business right now. But my main dream is to be a travel videographer. So right now I'm kind of using that business to fuel the other dream of being a travel videographer. So my Instagram, so before my Instagram was dedicated to posting product stuff. Like, hey, this is what I did, but now it's completely just travel stuff. So I'm trying to grow that right now. I started a couple weeks ago, probably like a month ago, of trying to grow my travel videography. So that's all my Instagram is right now. And I'm using the business of the product and brand videography stuff to fuel that other dream. Because eventually I want to be able to travel the world. I'm making brand and product videos for companies everywhere. So that's the main dream. So I'm in the process actually of doing that. And I decided because I think I have like 600 something followers on Instagram right now. So I'm still small. And so I decided I'm going to document my journey of that. So I actually started a podcast this week. So that's why I was asking you at the beginning of like how you're doing it. And then on Instagram every week I give an update of what I did that week and how many followers, my post with the most engagement. So that's actually what I'm doing right now, is trying to grow that as I'm doing this business on the side. So I got a couple things going on.
Yeah, well, usually most entrepreneurs have like 5 things on the burner, like at least two. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I get that, and that's really cool. So how has what do you feel like with COVID and having to stay home? You feel like your dream has kind of been set back a couple of months at least, or maybe even a year, since we might not be able to travel as much or do those types of things. Do you feel like it's kind of inhibited you on your dreams, or do you feel like it's kind of semi
hmm
okay?
Yeah, like honestly, these last 3 months have been my most progressive months of my life as far as like self-development, as far as moving forward business wise. And so like honestly, no, I feel like during COVID I've progressed more than I ever have. And like for example, on my Instagram, I'm just traveling Utah right now. And so that's easy because it's in my backyard, I just can just drive to places, but Utah has so many cool places that you can just drive anywhere and you'll find unique things that are cool about Utah. So travel wise, it hasn't been an infringement at all because I've just focused in Utah to niche down. at the start. And then, yeah, as business wise, it's been so helpful just to grow personally. Because ever since COVID started, I started networking like I never have before. And I've met so many people, and I'm having so many more opportunities because I know a lot more people. So honestly, like COVID's been like a blessing in a way. And I've never progressed so much like during COVID than I have before. So it's been awesome these past couple months.
I'm glad it hasn't stopped you or inhibited you from that. I think a lot of people who either wanted to start a business or were entrepreneurs had that extra time during these past couple of months to accomplish what they wanted to do. So
Yeah.
I, when we look at situations like this pandemic, epidemic, or when, a world crisis happens or we have an economic recession, I think those can be opportunities taken more than, looking at it as a bad situation. So it's really cool to see that you're positive and you have a great perspective about that. So I love all that. Last question. I always ask everyone, especially entrepreneurs who've been in the business, you've done this pretty much your whole life, but you kind of talked about it a little bit more, but what would be your advice for people who either want to start or feel like they have an obstacle in their way that, you think it would help them with that?
Well, I'm still starting, so I don't know. I'm only 20. I'm still pretty young. And so I'm just barely starting with everything. But I don't know. For me, I've realized it's all mindset. So just like work, like your business, yeah, it's important, but I think your mindset's 10 times more important. Because my dad's a therapist, so he's big on mindset stuff. And like I said, I grew up in an area in a neighborhood where all of them are entrepreneurs. So everyone I was around had such a positive outlook on everything. Like so many people saw COVID as a negative business wise, and everyone I was around, like, this is the perfect opportunity for a business. Like, this is the time to invest because then you'll become more wealthier after COVID because the economy's so low. So everything's so cheap. It's like, I just think it's all mindset. And so two things that I've been doing that have changed my life completely. It's been probably 3 months since I've started. Is I was doing a course by Tony Robbins. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know who that is. I hope a lot of other people know who that is,
All
but
right. So I was doing a course by him, and he said, if like no matter what, do two things. And once I started doing these two things, my life changed. Like everything changed. And number one was exercise every day because he said you got to get that blood pumping. So I do probably an hour and a half of exercising. And then he said read at least 30 minutes a day of business type books. He said like fictional, that doesn't count. Like it has to be like business mindset, like investing, financial books, stuff like that. And ever since I started doing that, my whole mentality has changed completely. Like every day I'm motivated, every day I'm excited. And I've noticed the few days where I skip like reading the 30 minutes or exercising, like I have a completely different mood. And so it's just crazy to see that because he compares the books to like feeding your mind. That it's like feeding your mind when you read 30 minutes a day. And if you don't feed it your mind, you're going to be slow and not going to be able to work as proactive. And so that's been the biggest change is reading and exercising. And they're two very simple things. And it only takes like 2 hours out of my day, but it changes the day completely when I do it. And so that's been great. And yeah, like I think honestly, it's all mental as far as like you just got to build that mindset. Like I'm still building. Like I'm not. I guess I'm sounding like I'm perfect, but like I'm still building it. Like I struggle a lot, but because I read those books, because I have the mindset of struggle's good. Like I don't knock myself down and get out of the game for a week. It doesn't take me a week to boot me back up. It takes me a couple hours, or it takes me 30 minutes of reading the book. It's like, yeah, if I have like a failure and I get down every once in a while, I'll go read 30 minutes of one of those books. And after reading it, like, it's like, all right, let's go back to work. So I think, yeah, it comes down to mindset. I think like you don't have to have the most brilliant business idea. It just comes down to your mindset. Because if you have that mindset, you're going to see so many more opportunities. So many doors are going to open. You're going to keep going when it gets tough. And so I guess that'd be my advice, even though I'm not one to give advice because I'm still starting.
no, that's
But
totally fine. And I think we're kind of both in the same younger generation, and it's because I'm only 18, so a lot of people might not want to listen to us, but I advocate for, everyone has perspective, everyone has something to teach someone else. So it doesn't matter what that is or how young, old, whatever. you have advice, you have something to give. So I think your advice on mindset is key. And what you said before, like what Elon Musk said, and it's like, if you're not born with that, it's hard to build it up. But if you're
Yeah.
willing to do that, and you're willing to stop not being lazy or taking those 2 pieces of advice, exercising, reading, doing those things to improve yourself, I think other people have a chance at that. But yeah, so I really, really appreciate your advice, and I appreciate you coming on here today.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys for listening and watching today. If you guys want to know more about Britton and what he's doing, his information is down below. And you guys know that my product offer is now live, and as well as my ebook. So all that information is down below. And I hope you guys just have a great week.